Hello everyone, this is Steven with SG Saber Design, and today I've got a Jawas Junkyard Yungling sent to me by Mark to be installed with a Golden Harvest V4. This came to me shortly after being weathered by Astoria Workshop. Very nicely done. This is the first wooden saber I've ever held. So let's go over what we got here. Now, the first thing to remember, Mark, before you open this up, take out your chassis, pull out your button. There's a small 3x2 magnet that's glued onto the end, and it will stay there unless you slide out the chassis with the button still in there. So, this is a very tight fit. There is a screw that goes right here. It's right here. And I'm not going to put that in right now because I don't have a screwdriver that fits that. I don't know what they use in Australia, but my metric 2mm just spins loosely in it, and my metric 2.5 won't fit in. None of my Imperial ones seem to fit it either. So the 2.5 will kind of get a grip on the very outside edge and get it in or out, but I don't know what that was supposed to have been used for. So to get this out, I know sometimes they say just to push from from there, but I printed you this little tool. Goes in either way, but just slide that in there and it will not hit your pins, so your pins are safe. Just slide that in there with that out and that out, and then just gently push, and that will push the chassis. You set that aside, and the chassis just slides out. And I went with a green, sparkle green filament on this. Just felt like it went well with the wood, the elemental kind of theme. So here we have a Golden Harvest V4. This is the first one of these I have done for a customer. Installed very easily. Just got to get used to where all those pads are. And I kind of felt like the chassis was a little bit plain when I was designing it. So I added a OLED screen, only to find out while installing it that they don't have support in the firmware for this just yet. From what I read, it is in beta right now and coming soon. So once that's there, because I know there are no bitmap files inside their default package that you get off their website. So I assume that once they enable that in firmware, all you gotta do is pull out your card, stick this in your computer. Actually, I think you can do it without even, I think you can do it through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. But stick it in your computer, download their firmware file, put it on there, and as soon as you turn it on, it'll say updating firmware, and you'll have the new firmware. Obviously, you'll have to grab updated packages as well, but those are on their website as well. So what we have here is we've got our 18650 battery. Here's our tactile switch right here. Mark did want a kill switch, so that's right here. We've got a stock V4 emitter. Obviously, we've got the OLED screen. And if you want, you can pull this off. And we've got a Smuggler's Outpost 28mm Elite speaker. So this doesn't need to come off, and it should sit right about there. So to use this,
hotspot with the name GHv4 created. Connect to it via your smartphone or computer and select the Wi-Fi network that you want your Saber to connect to.
So it has Wi-Fi enabled, Bluetooth is enabled as well. If you want to disable or if you want to use those, that's fine. Just follow the instructions, and there's stuff on their website about how to do that. If you want to disable that, on the SD card, there's a file called general.txt or general settings, something like that. Just look in there, find where it says BLE or Wi-Fi and just change from on to off. I think it's just changing a 0 to a 1. So now I do have twist gestures enabled. Mark, if you want stab or swing gestures enabled, just let me know. We can do that. That's honestly, you can do that through the Saber itself. I would have to print out their manual and walk through it step by step on how to do that, but you can also change that in the SD card, or I will do that for you if you want. So to use this, with the switch turned on, we're going to slide this in, and this notch right here kind of lines up with this hole, because this hole here has to line up with that hole. So we're going to slide that in, and we're going to look through this hole here until we see that shiny magnet. And kind of close. There is no way to really clock this, so you just kind of, there we go. You can see that, hopefully you can see that switch in there, that magnet button. And you can see that our hole's right there. Okay, so to use this, take our switch plunger, just kind of drop it in there, and that sticks right on. Now, I'm going to use my test blade, and the other thing I told Mark, I'm not sure what they used here. I believe it's an M4 set screw, but it needs a rather long one, and I don't have any of those at the moment. So I put a little piece of tape on my test blade, and it fits in there tightly. So let's go ahead and try this out. Apparently it stays at whatever font you had it at last. So that's something I didn't know about the Golden Harvest. To change your fonts, you're going to hold the button for about a second.
Sound menu.
And then you're going to twist. I don't know most of these, so if you want to select one, you just hold the button. And then to turn it off, you can just hold it for
sound menu.
Dark Harvest. What do I sacrifice?
Sounds like I've got something from Andor there. So that's, there are ways to change the blade color, the blade style, all that stuff. It's all in the manual that's available on SaberTech's website. There are a lot of controls. Mark, you're going to look for the ones that specify single button control. So now, once again, when you're done, go ahead and take out your blade. And make sure you take out your switch plunger, because if you slide that chassis out, it is going to shear off that magnet. Now, if that happens, it's not a big deal. It is not going to hurt anything. Let me show you here. You will basically pull that out and find this magnet still stuck to this magnet. If that happens, just pull it off. Just a drop of super glue on there, but make sure you have it oriented right, because if you put it the wrong way, it's just going to push away when you try and put it in. Now, just in case, I've got a little baggie with about 5 or 6 spare magnets, just in case, because I've already knocked it off once myself. So, it's easy to do. If if you have any other questions, Mark, please let me know. If you want anything else enabled, disabled, changed, I'll figure that out if you let me know. But otherwise, we can get this in the mail right away. I hope you enjoy it. This was kind of a fun one to do. I should mention I did the design on the chassis, but all of this greebly work, all this scroll work in here was done by Mark Ryan. He did all this design work by hand, just kind of mimicking a lot of the stuff that's already here. This design here is kind of mimicking this shield, or the portion right here. Just got some kind of organic shapes to it that look really nice. So thanks to Mark and Mark the customer. I hope you really enjoy this. It's going to be a great one. I do have the volume turned down to about 70% right now in the config. You can do that easily on the Saber, following the instructions there, or you can adjust the config file or the settings file or general file, I think, on this SD card. If you want it louder, that's fine. If not, I've got it set turned down just a little bit right now, but it will get louder. So thank you. Anyone has any questions, comments, please leave them in the messages below. And anyone who wants some Saber work done, installs, repairs, anything like that, please hit me up at sgsaberdesign.etsy.com. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. And of course, may the force be with you always.